In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful.
Is everyone truly given a chance during their life? And then afterward it says, what about somebody like Tarzan?
Like who? Like
Tarzan, the guy who grew up in the jungle with animals.
Tarzan. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Well, about Tarzan, if he really existed, yes, he has the same chance. But Tarzan did not exist only in the movies. But the answer to that, alhamdulillah, is very simple. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that in the Quran. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that in his prophetic words. Everyone has a chance to believe. As I mentioned earlier, and every time, every person has a choice to believe or not to believe, as Allah explicitly teaches that in the Quran as well. Remember, I mentioned earlier one of the ayat of the Quran in Surah Al-A'raf, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instilled in the very essence of the being of every human being the knowledge of the divine. Every person carries within himself and herself the potential to believe. And therefore, we should look at every person not as a current kafir, but as a potential mu'min. The psychological attitude that you bear pertaining to someone who does not believe in God or does not believe in Islam at all, the psychological attitude that you hold towards that person is very important. And I mean by that, if you look at the person with the eye of a current kafir, a current unbeliever, that might produce certain responses because of that psychological attitude externally that are not welcome Islamically. But if you look at that person as a potential believer, because he or she has that potential as God created in him or her, then it would lead the person to have a different actual practical attitude with that person. Because we need and we have to look at each one as having that potential. And you heard also the earlier example mentioned from the Quran about the Pharaoh. I mean, this is the worst of all creatures, externally speaking. And yet, he had always that chance to believe. And everyone has that chance, whether we grab it or not, is our decision, our choice. And for each choice we make, there are consequences. You know, before you go on, you know, a man passed me this, which was passed to him. Oh,
I got
two of them? You have one,
I
too?
got one or two, yeah.
Oh, good. So that's for both of you, both of us. You know, look, children. There are children here and youth, I don't know, and they have drawn this. Show that. You know, and it says, I love Allah. And there is Mecca and the Kaaba, even the Maqam Ibrahim, and it says, thank you for giving us this lecture. Okay.
Good job, Maryam. Good job, Maryam.
Things like this, for some people, is a miracle. Really, please, you know, God speaks to you in ways you do not anticipate. For some people, for some hearts, this is a miracle. It's up to you. Allahu A'lam.